Hello, welcome back to a Spiritual Ascension, my 5-year journey, where I'm telling my entire story of my ascension journey. And in these first few videos, I'm talking about what led up to that 5 years. So I think I kind of left off. Bear with me because I'm probably sometimes after I finish a video, I remember that I didn't explain this to you or kind of input some information. And also, while I'm doing these videos, not only am I giving you what happened to me, the 3D version, but how they applied spiritually. Okay. So these are things that you can look for in your own journey. Like I talked about numbers and um, looking for the signs. So just as a recap, I kind of probably ended with 2012 of my kind of first awakening to find out that the religion that I was a part of was kind of not all cracked up what it was supposed to be. Actually, I've been doing some research and it kind of hit me also that um, I try to keep my time here. Because I asked, like, why was I a part of that religion? Why was in this lifetime was I put into that religion? And not only was it to um, kind of give me a basis of who I am now, um, to mold me, not so much as far as the teachings of it, but also, as I say, the saying of religion teaches you to be a good person, but spirituality makes you want to be a good person. I was taught to be a good person and wanted to always reflect that in everything I did. So if I may have not been brought up that way, maybe I wouldn't be who I am today. Okay. Also, it also gave me a basis of um, religious teachings. So that is one thing that religion did was kind of go through, even though the interpretation of the Bible was not the true interpretation, I learned the foundation of the history of the Bible. I refer to the Bible as a um, something that teaches us um, not only history, but examples of how to live our life better. But I do not believe it's the be all to end all. There's so much more information out there that we are not allowed to. When I say allowed to, it's kind of like if you look back through history, it was for us to listen to religious leaders and the leaders of churches and what they said went. And weren't supposed to think for ourselves. And that's why I always say I did a video on research, research, research. I'm going to go more into that in another video. But from that time of kind of saying, okay, I don't know what the right religion is now. I don't know where to go from now. Does God even exist? So now moving forward into 2013, and I think I told you about, my therapist at the time, I had gone to kind of grapple with my son's passing and also how was I to overcome um, my family no longer wanting to socialize with me because I had broken away from their religion. And then going online and meeting. this gentleman who then introduced me to his sister, who was a psychic medium. Um, that was 2014, and that went into my second major spiritual awakening to be now in contact with my son and my father on the other side, and now understanding that they still existed. And that really got me turned upside down because now I'm like, I want to understand what this universe is all about. And then just researching um, for the next few years. By the end of 2016, the relationship had became so tumultuous, so negative that I knew, even when I had visited his sister for some readings, she was even telling me that he was no good for me, his own sister, and that I would go on later on to meet someone that would be better for me. So I knew I needed to leave that situation. I knew it was going to be hard, as any, when you're living with someone, as any breakup will be. So it was a thing of, I knew if I just left, told him I was leaving, that his temper um, was so bad that I didn't think I could, that it was going to be a big issue. So, so I tell you, once you know everything, the crazy things that have happened in my life, um, but we're all lessons for later on, it's crazy. So anyway, made arrangements with my best friend at the time and a friend of ours who was a mover, and said, I know he leaves at a certain time to go to work. So after he leaves, let's come in, take all my stuff out, move it to my new apartment, and that will be that. I won't have to deal with the face-to-face consequences. The thing was, I usually went to work after him, and he left. As soon as he left, I started, grabbing up my stuff, and they were actually sitting outside waiting. And all of a sudden, about a half an hour later, he came back, and my friend called me on the phone. She's like, I think he's headed back into the building. And I'm like, oh my goodness, so I start throwing everything back, trying to make it look like, nothing had happened. And he came back in, and he's wondering why I'm still there, because usually I would have left for work. And he's like, you're not going to work today? And I'm like, no, I took the day off. So then he kind of starts looking around, and he's like, why is this out of order and that out of order? And I'm like, okay, I just have to face the music at this point. And I said to him, I said, I'm moving out today. And of course, what I would feared came, the anger. And it wasn't even about our relationship. He was thinking more about my contribution as far as money. And so that was a whole, I'm thankful that I had people there with me, um, so that it couldn't be confrontational more than it was already. Backing up a little bit, so I moved out. I moved actually almost around the corner, which was kind of crazy. Um, Found a nice little apartment, and um, but he continued for years on to kind of harass me. So I kept threatening, him with, lawsuit, civil action, so forth and so on. and he would lay low for a while and then it would happen again. So finally, it's been a couple of years now where he's like left me alone. Anyway, backing up. But the thing was too, his sister, I'll probably go in more into that. His sister paid a pivotal point of me understanding who I was supposed to become. And because I was so fearful of the unknown, of um, knowing the universe in its entirety, and that I was studying something, but not understanding that um, I had gifts that she was introducing me to in a way. So we'll go more into that later on. Um, the thing I want to back up and saying, talking about for this video is about manifesting. So I had told you that I was doing a lot of research, trying to understand the concepts of spirituality, what it meant for, this and that, and just doing so much research. And, keep hearing this word about manifesting. And I remember hearing that there were these, um, rich tech guys who were becoming rich, not that they had anything to do with spirituality, but they had this frequency about them that attracted wealth to them. So I was trying to understand, like, what is this manifesting thing? And when I had gone for the apartment, it was like the most perfect apartment because it was close to the train station that I needed to take into New York City every day. And it was just very convenient where it was located. It's nice and small, and it was also within the price that I could afford at the time. So I said, okay, trying to say this manifesting thing to bring this towards me. And I thought about a story, something, it's not a story. I thought about something that had happened to me when I was younger, which I need to probably tell you more about that too. I don't want to go too far over my time here. Um, I remember being very young. I don't know, maybe I was 9, 10. And for some reason, I had two little friends that lived down the street, and we would always be playing together. And one day I had wrapped up something, and I told them it was a new kitten that I had got, which it wasn't. I did not have a kitten. And they're like, well, let us see it. Let us see it. I'm like, no, you can't see it yet. It's too small. You can't see it. And I'm cracking myself up now because I'm like just thinking about this. Um, I said, in a couple days, when it gets a little bit bigger, then you can see it. So now they went home, and I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do when I don't produce a kitten in a couple days, So I was like scared to death, like, oh my God, they're going to say I'm a liar, that I'm, so forth and so on. And lo and behold, within a couple days, for some reason, we got a cat, got a kitten. And I don't remember what exactly had happened, but then my friends came over, later in the week, and I'm like, here's the kitten that I said I had. So it was like almost as a child, like manifesting something um, that I didn't actually have, but now saying, how do I get this thing in order to prove to my friends that I did have it? Okay, so fast forward now of trying to now get this apartment. And I was up against, a bunch of other people, um, and trying to bring in that frequency again of how do I acquire this? And I don't know, 2 weeks had gone by and I still hadn't heard back from the landlord. And I had said to my friend, I'm like, oh my goodness, what if I don't get it? What am I going to do? And she's like, oh, you'll get it, you'll get it. And so I called him and I said, um, I just wanted to see, if you had made a decision. He goes, oh, yeah, I was just getting ready to call you. He said, I had wanted to talk to the other people first because, it was a hard decision. But I did choose you for the apartment. And I was like, oh my goodness, I can't believe it. Like, so trying to say, how do I master this thing called manifesting to be able to bring things into my life? Um, that I need or want or that's best for me. Okay. And I'll talk more about that as we go on. But that was like I'm trying to do year by year. So that was kind of like the end of 2016. Okay. And I'm going to leave it there for this video. If you would like to spend time with me talking about your own journey or about my journey, there's a link below to book time with me. I also have several courses on the ascension process, and that link is also below. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you next time.